What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Montana Method podcast one more time. As always, your host, Nelson Rodriguez Jr., author, creator, and everything under the sun of the Montana Method. Today, I have a very special guest. Welcome back, Ms. Toktam Thomas.
Hello. Thank you very much. Yeah, good to be back.
Yeah.
Different circumstances, different location.
Different everything.
Different everything for both of us. So I'm excited.
I've been out here hustling all my life. Every day we get into it. Really out here in these streets. That's day and night. Like there's nothing to it. When I was going through it, dog, I never got your call. I never asked for nothing, no. But now I want it all. I promise I'ma do it. Came from rags to riches. Rags to riches. Came from rags to riches. Rags to riches. Came from rags.
Good to have you back. So, tell me. I mean, you don't have to tell me much because I watch a lot, so I know more of the same, you know? Staying ripped year-round, helping others do the same.
True, yes. So the same, but not. This is the whole point. Same process. Process of habits. They stay always in place. But the circumstances change because you just grow as a human, as a person, and as you grow, other things happen in your life, and that's the whole point. So people always think when they start a journey, they have to do the big things and start right there and be right there, and so they basically give up before even starting. And they say, I'm a perfectionist. I don't want to start unless all the stars are aligned. And
then they never start.
They never start because it's overwhelming. So the mind goes right into making excuses why they shouldn't start and convinces, the ego is convincing them that they should stay where they are because it would take too long. It's way too hard. They don't know where. Let's read another book. That's my favorite. Let's read another book. Let's get more information about everything that I know already is. Most people know what they need to do. They just don't do it. So taking action is actually the bigger problem.
Taking imperfect action. It has to look ugly.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, there is actually, so when I have clients that start, to me, the beauty is the trying. I see the beauty in trying. I don't care how people look in the beginning because I've been there. I mean, I was at the gym, lifting weights in the weight room with the guys. It doesn't matter. First speaking videos, I didn't want to do it. Posting personal information about my childhood, my upbringing, all of that, everything that everybody doesn't want to do, I didn't want to do either. But I have found that everything I wanted was beyond that door. So for everybody who's watching and listening, your level up in life is hidden behind your weaknesses. Everything that you don't want to do is exactly what you need to do.
Does it ever get to the point where it's not uncomfortable anymore?
Yeah, it gets less uncomfortable. So I started noticing that people were hitting me up from the same group as me who started with me, posting online, that they were saying, I never said I don't like to speak on camera, I just did it. And they were starting to say, you speak so well on camera. And I thought, what? Why would anybody ever say that to me? I hate it. And so I noticed just doing it then 100 times, you get good at it, and then you internalize the message. I just understood more and more of the message, so I could speak better. It was not, I don't have to think about it anymore. You become more authentic, and the more authentic you become, the more you, don't give a shit about what anybody else thinks. You also know that everybody has the same problems. They wish they would be in your shoes and would have your problems. They wish they would speak on camera. They wish they would be okay not being liked. All of those things. And So you just go for it. I don't get nervous anymore going on podcasts or speaking on camera. But there are days where I don't want to do it either. And those days, I remind myself that I needed to hear that message one day. So somebody's sitting there waiting for the message because it's not about me. It's truly not about me. I'm doing it. I've been doing it now for long enough. I could turn off the camera. I would still go to the gym. I would still do all of my habits. But I owe. That's a deep, deep feeling of mine that I owe, because somebody got up at 2:45 and went one more day and did it one more day. It was my mentor, although he had the money, he had everything that he wanted. He could turn off the camera and could have retired. So, and it was me listening on the other side one day. So every day I remind myself there might be somebody else listening for that reason. Keep going.
You know, I can share in that sentiment because, I told you, you want to know something wild?
Yeah, of course.
The building where the FBI took me to the U.S. Marshals is across the street.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
It's the building behind us. Isn't that insane?
Did it remind you of that?
Of course. I used to go there, at my court dates, all that stuff. So it's crazy. I didn't plan this. Like, I planned being here today, but I didn't know it was across the street from the courthouse. So that's crazy, right?
Did it throw you off?
No, it excited me.
Why?
It's the world's way of reminding me how far I've come. If you forget where you come from, you don't know how far you can go.
Do you remind yourself often?
Every day.
Where you started?
I talk to friends of mine that were in prison with me. I look at in prison you have an ID card. I look at it all the time. I have it in my closet. I look at it all the time. And I always remind myself of what my rock bottom was. And funny enough, remember my Wall Street friend that I'm doing business with now, that we're starting a media company together? I met him in prison. It's crazy.
Do you know what you're creating there when you do that every day?
A new world.
Do you know your internal state that you're creating? So I do that too. And it's just simply putting yourself into a state of gratitude. It's simply saying, I remember where I came from, and I appreciate wherever I am. I'm so lucky to be where I am, because only then, you get to actually enjoy your current life without always 100%. Hoping for a better tomorrow. And then once you're in gratitude and feel abundant already, more abundance comes your way.
Agreed. Abundance is like, it's just like scarcity. Like, the more scarcity you create in your own mind, the more you see, and it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. But I think abundance is the same thing.
It is.
The more abundance you create in your own mind, the more abundance you see, the more it's the only thing you want to,
I mean, you can go scientifically and spiritually, but it is, you literally create a negative spiral of energy or a positive spiral of energy, and you internalize the belief nothing is possible or everything is possible. And it's your fulfilled prophecy. So there's a law of assumption. Because you assume you are going to win, you are going to win.
Right.
If you don't let any other thought in. You will not find a top athlete or somebody who says, oh, if I lose this fight, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. They all say, I am a winner and I'm going to win. There's no plan B. There's no other option, because you're fucked if you go into anything and think, oh,
what if I lose?
What if I lose? You have already wasted whatever percentage it is on losing. And you have just no chance.
Yeah, Sun Tzu in The Art of War. The battle is long determined before you ever step on the battlefield.
Yes, that's just the execution. But you need to really know. When I really knew, there's just, fear is gone. Fear is gone. And the only question is, how can I close the gap between the person I know I'm meant to be and the person I am today as fast as possible. And then you are capable of taking big steps and throwing out a lot of money and saying, fuck it. I'm just going to pour my belief in tool. Money is a tool.
Right.
I'm just going to throw that in there and say, if not me, who else? Of course, I must be the person.
Right.
And once you bet on yourself, it's an exchange of energy. Everything comes just back to you. Doors open up. It's all energy, as Tesla said already.
Yeah. We talked about this through text a couple of times, but you know what I love about you? How you're able to channel these thoughts. Because I don't have a handle on it yet. The way I've kind of determined at this stage in my life is just kind of surrender to the world and let things come to me. But you almost seem like you have a process on how you channel these things, which they're fucking brilliant, by the way. The things you say, they really are.
Thank you.
Tell me about that.
So I don't know. It's a gift of mine, I think. It's a gift. One gift that I have received is my brain just likes to consume complicated information that everybody is very confused about and simplify it. It's almost like an obligation to learn more than everybody else, because I know they're having these black spots and the questions in their head, and I can just fill them very easily for them without telling them, my clients, for example, you have to read 10 books. I give them the answer, or I tell them where to look. Sometimes you have to question what they're saying, and they get it themselves, basically. But generally speaking, this is how I learned it. I just read and read and read, and then I consumed and realized I still cannot formulate it. Why is that? And once I started writing it down, formulating, making sense, looking from all angles at it, I realized that I knew more than other people. I just understood it better. So people came to ask me for questions. This is how actually my mindset program with my elite clients, we pound extremely on mindset. That's what we do. Mainly, this is how it came together because of my strength. I can just help them to see their own Bermuda triangles. You're in a space and you don't know what you don't know. You're running in circles and you don't know how to level up and get to the next level. And it doesn't matter, they say 2-3 sentences and I repeat them to them and say, this is what you said here. It means you are subconsciously thinking this. And once you point it out, they can work on it. Before.
It's like blind spots.
It's blind spots. It's awareness. So awareness is literally your capability of seeing what you have already, basically, in life. I read a book, I forgot the name of the author. Even when it comes down to time, people don't understand when I say time doesn't exist. It's something that we have invented for us to process how we move about life. And people are so stuck in the 24 hours that it's really hard for them to not understand, to unlearn that. But right now we're sitting here, you and me, right? We're sitting here and you are whoever you are and I'm whoever I am. Tomorrow, if we sit here, it's also going to be now, right? We are always in the now. In the now, we are right now experiencing the past and the future. You remember and you see ahead. Yeah, you think you see ahead. So you're pulling always the past into the now.
And the future into the now.
And the future into the now. But what mainly people do is live in their past. Okay, we create always in the now, right now. Whoever I am right now is who Toktam is. What is she capable of doing? And this is what I'm creating right now. So in the right now, if I'm working out, if I'm a savage, if I'm writing, if I'm producing, whatever I'm doing, this is the person who is doing it right now. And this is going to determine how the universe is changing. So it's literally like every decision that you make in the now, right now, you're changing the universe. There are, let's say, 1 million different outcomes, okay? 1 million different forms of Toktam are out here. If I make many, many bad choices, accumulate those, I will have a bad life, okay? Now, if I make many, many compounding good decisions, I alter my future by becoming this version. But all these versions exist already. So the only way you can create is in the now, right now. All the decisions and all the action that you're taking right now. That's one thing. So I know I'm not waiting for tomorrow to do the podcast. I'm not waiting for Monday to start my workout. I'm not waiting for next year to get onto the program. I need to do it right now, because tomorrow I'm going to feel the same way. I'm going to feel like I want to start tomorrow, and I want to start tomorrow, and I want to start tomorrow. Tomorrow is never going to come. It's never going to happen. You will always feel in the now like I want to do it tomorrow. So you need to pull that back and say, I am the person who starts today, right now. If I don't do it right now, there's no other, you're never going to do it. You have to do it right now. When the impulse of thought comes to you, that's the universe speaking to you. You need to take action right then and right there and say, this is who I am. I made a decision, because any decision is better than no decision. When you make no decisions, it's a decision too. The cards are falling and your stamp is procrastinator. You go onto the losing pile. There's nothing else waiting for you. So you create by constantly pushing forward. It doesn't matter if it's the right decision or if it's the wrong decision. You push forward with the best intent and your highest excitement for something. So I have this vision of who I think I am. And everything that falls a line into that, it's a yes. Am I ready? No. Do I have the money? No. Whatever it takes, I'll figure it out. I must do this. It doesn't matter what it takes. You have to find a how. The how is the solution to a problem. It's always problem solving. And that's exactly what is going to make you as a person become a bigger person.
It's not about resources. It's about being resourceful.
Yeah. I mean, the universe will never give you anything that you're not ready for. You have 100%. Everything that you need right now. What most people do is not only do they stall pushing forward, they constantly think about, what did this person do 30 minutes ago? What did my parents do? The way I grew up? Now they're literally physically living in the past, pulling it into the now and keep repeating it. And they're not understanding that they're basically repeating their past past mistakes over and over and over. So either way, they're living in Groundhog Day. Every day is looking the same. You're going to work 8 to 5. Coming home, trying to relax from your job that you hated Monday through Friday. Mondays is always awful.
And most people don't even do anything at their job anyway, but yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
It's a whole nother conversation, but generally speaking, I mean, whatever you want to do, there are 24 hours in a day.
100%.
If you work 8 hours, you just need to get your shit together and work a few more hours. That's 100%. How we all do it. Once you are in the process of creating and realize how much in control you are of your life, you just start creating, and then you don't want to stop anymore. It's not a punishment to work. I actually like to work. Most of my traveling is working. My kids are involved in my work. My ex-husband is involved and invested into that too. We're all just creating. My life is the process, and the process is my life. Right. I posted this yesterday. If you don't learn to fall in love with the process that you have every day, fuck vacation and fuck the weekend. If you're living for your evening beer, for the weekends and the vacation, you're lost.
You're just escaping your life instead of trying to work on your life. Instead of trying to work to have a good life, you're just escaping it and ignoring what you want to fix.
100%. And that the pain that you're experiencing is the universe telling you need to get your shit together.
Ladies and gentlemen, the familiar voice of your host, Nelson Rodriguez Jr., taking a quick detour to talk to you about the best jewelry shop on the internet, Gus Villa Jewelry. Let's be honest here, guys. Jewelers in Miami are super shady sometimes. I've even been ripped off once or twice by one of these self-proclaimed alchemists that ended up being these weirdos who sell you a bunch of stuff that make your neck and your fingers turn black. Let me tell you, after I met my boy, Gus Villa, he elevated my bling game. The Gus Villa team, these guys are more than just jewelers. These guys are magicians turning metal and stone into your next head turner. Trust me, these pieces shine so much you can see them from outer space. Head over to GusVillaJewelry.com, and because you're a Monty, that's right, part of the Montana Method crew, you can use the promo code Montana to snatch 5% off your order. You don't just get hooked up with some shine, you get to have some dough in your pocket. Double whammy. So guys, what are you waiting for? Elevate your jewelry game. Show the world what you got. You got some style, you got some bling, you're all blinged up. Come on back after you do that. We've got more Montana Method Madness waiting for you. Now back to the podcast.
So we went very quickly, very far into quantum physics, but this is basically, I can take it further. I can tell you that I believe 100% that version of mine exists already, and all the adversity that is coming my way, she's putting out there so I can grow into the woman that I see myself being. So it doesn't matter what happens in my life. I'm so fucking thankful. It doesn't matter. People say, oh, you're getting divorced. I know it's part of my plan. It doesn't matter how painful it is. I know I'm growing as a person. And I know a lot of people feel as if they're victims to anything in their life, but it's not. It's simply a gift for you to become the person that is capable of giving you the life that you really, truly want.
Right.
It is a gift. And once I realized that, my whole life shifted from, oh, there are good times, and the challenging times are actually the times that I'm growing, and I'm getting excited for the version of myself who's coming out the other way.
Right.
So, I feel so lucky with this mindset that I've learned this.
Was it a specific moment in life that kind of took you down this path? Or was it different times where you saw different signs of what you should do with your life? Because everyone I talk to, right, whenever I talk to people who have taken their life and drastically changed it, I get different responses. There's people who had a crisis moment and everything fell apart and they said, all right, I need to change. But then there's also people who kind of always saw these little signs, and the signs were always there and they would just ignore them. So for you, was it a combination of both? Was it more just one specific moment? What was it? Kind of guide me through
I
that.
think everybody can see the signs, and most of the people have a crisis. The universe is set up like that.
The crisis is the compounding of those moments you're ignoring, and then it just blows up in your face, right? That's kind of how I think it.
It blows up in your face, or you say the pain is unbearable.
Unbearable.
When the pain is unbearable, you actually surrender and your heart is open to what is there already. It's a silent prayer that people give out. It's a silent prayer that you give out for the other life that brings the adversity into your life, that brings the human into your life. It's not the big things that happen in your life, like the lottery win or whatever people
Definitely
dream
not.
of, or somebody coming giving you a promotion or whatever.
I'm still waiting for that guy who's going to knock on my door and give me a bag with $100 million in it. It's never going to happen.
It's just not going to happen. The silent prayer in your heart that you're so torn, the human that is suffering internally and silently and is just wishing for a different life silently because he's ashamed to say, I fucked up. I don't like my life. He's ashamed to say, I'm overwhelmed with my family life. He's ashamed to say, I don't like my life. I just don't like myself. I don't like my life. I went as far as saying I hated every part of my life. I hated from the house with the white picket fence, over my husband, over even being a mother. I always loved my children, but the role as a mother, I felt trapped and I hated every second of my life.
You felt like it was limiting you?
Yeah. I thought, so many women are afraid to say that. I thought my kids were limiting me in my potential. Because, it's like you have to take care of him, it's hard, blah, blah. It was all excuses. It was literally all excuses. I just made a way. I have found a way, and they're part of my life, and they're contributing. They're a very big part of the love that I'm experiencing. But now I have the peace to love and experience my children. Before, I was escaping and looking for something on the outside to change my life. Once I learned that I am in control and I put my habits into place, I have so much peace in my head that I can see my children.
Right.
And I can love them and I can spend intentional time with them. And they're just a bonus. I feel lucky now that I have them and that they are mine, that they chose me. But before, I loved them, but I couldn't be in the present moment and enjoy it. So I think a lot of people are in that. I know a lot of people are in that situation, and they go from work, overeating, and over drinking, and strip clubs, porn, beer, man cave, sleeping pills, over-the-counter.
Yeah.
I mean, you name it. Anything that is most ridiculous to get out of their discomfort in sitting in it.
So I have an interesting thought that you're a perfect person. I've wanted to tell you this. I've had this kind of, it's just how my brain works when I see certain things. Society as a whole, when they see addicts, right? When they see an alcoholic, a heroin addict, a cocaine addict, whatever, right? They're like, oh my God, you should have been doing that, all these interventions and all this shit. Where are the interventions for the people that overeat?
Nothing.
It's the opposite. They give them more food. They shove more food down their face.
Not only that, it's horrible because they're now saying they're putting models out there who are overweight. And I'm not saying everybody has to be ripped. Yeah, curvy and healthy looks different than obese. And
yeah,
there's no way that nobody can convince me. I've been about 40 pounds or what heavier than I'm now. I wasn't 350 pounds, but man, I hated my fucking body.
Well, take it from somebody who weighed 300 pounds. It's not whoever's trying to talk about body positivity. And listen, I was miserable. I hated my body. I didn't like how I looked. I couldn't eat to bend down to tie my shoes. I couldn't go up a flight of stairs without being out of breath. If you're telling yourself that you're happy and you're overweight, you're lying to yourself. That's just period.
That is a problem. Then they look around and see their fat friends and think, at least I'm not that bad. No, you're just aiming for way too low.
Yep.
I've taken people from my client, Roxy, from, 190 pounds, 180 pounds, I don't know. She always thought she had to be fat because everybody told her, all of your family is fat. She's extremely successful. She's in a male-dominated company in oil and gas, and she thought she had to fit into the picture of, well, if you're successful and if you're smart, it's okay to be overweight. And her family told her that she's big boned or heavy boned or whatever.
Yeah.
All of that was a lie. We took her down to, she looks now better and more ripped than anybody in her circle. Now she's the woman who walks in, is the boss, has the suit on, has the biceps vein and the abs, N is the person who says, I'm not going to drink with you guys. I'm going to go and you have fun at the company party. People underestimate what it means to walk into a room and look different. It's 100% underestimated. You just own the room because everybody wants to know who you are. What are you doing differently? I don't even bodybuild. I'm doing this on the side.
Which is funny. Don, when we walked in, are you in competition?
Yeah, no. I'm actually right now, I'm not even at my leanest. But when you get around people who have just higher standards, you don't accept low-level shit anymore.
100%.
And you don't let anybody be in your vicinity who tells you anything less.
That's such a big part of life, like who you surround yourself with, man. You know,
it's everything. One person in my life changed everything. How much money I can make, how I can look, that I can get everything done. I don't have to decide. I'm not deciding on, do I want to make money? Do I want to be a loving mother? Do I want to? We take it all. We want it all. We take it all. We aim for unrealistic. Whatever other people say is unrealistic, I'm going to show you and I'm going to prove you wrong that it's very realistic and you were just too fucking lazy to do it.
It also helps if you wake up at 2:30 in the morning.
It is not a help. It's a necessity for me. I started...
Words are powerful.
Yes. I started, I think, at 4:30. And then I pushed it back to 4. And my morning habits got more and more and more. And now I'm at 2:30. It just happened to be 2:30. I don't want anybody to just voluntarily get up at 2:30 and sit at their kitchen counter until 5.
No, you got to do stuff, of course.
You got to do stuff. So if 4 o'clock works for you, great. If 5 o'clock works for you, great. Whatever works for you. We just don't accept anything past 6 o'clock. That's sleeping in.
Right.
Okay, so your day is gone. But nobody has to wake up at 2:30. But I do wake up at 2:30 7 days a week. And I go through my process. And if I at some point feel as if on Sundays, for example, I want to snuggle with my kids and I fall asleep for another hour or so in the morning after my process, I do that. Or if I have my period and I need to take a nap, I do that. But I don't, and I aim to go to bed around 9, but last night it was 1:15 a.m. and I basically took a nap. I took a nap, got up at 2:30, did my thing, and then I slept for another 45 minutes because we were meeting at 9 o'clock at the gym. But you can get it done. And here's the thing. Who gives it? Everybody's like, all these studies about sleep and you will die, blah, blah, blah. I lived a hard life. And when you live a hard life, people don't understand this. You don't care if you die. You're not afraid of dying because you have given it your all. The only reason people are afraid to die is because they always think there were so many things that I wanted to do. But when you live like I do, or some of us, you just do it. You're constantly doing something. So if I would die, I want people to say, fuck yes, but she lived a great life. She gave it her all. When you die, you don't care anymore. You know, I think people are just afraid because really they're feeling like they did 60, 70, 80 years of nothing. Obviously, I care for my kids. That's always the parent going crazy over that. But other than that, I don't give a shit. I really don't.
So you sleep on average like 5 hours a night?
Yeah, about.
That's amazing.
4 to 5 hours, I would say.
You think that varies from person to person? Or can everybody get to the point where they're just sleeping 5 hours a night and they're fine?
I think it varies in gender.
It's more of a woman thing?
I think generally, so when we, for example, have our cycle, we crave more carbs. The body goes a little bit slower. And so I'm a woman. I've now done it for long enough with my clients as well. We get more tired. The body wants to rest a little bit more, and it asks because of that for more carbs. It wants fast carbs for your energy level to go up again. So if you then sleep very little and work out and are on a deficit and so on and so forth, it's just a situation that I generally from women say, hey, when you have your period, we change it up just a little bit. So I go a little softer on them. Men don't get a slack from me at all. You need to go at it, because wherever you get uncomfortable is where you give up, right? Everybody gives up when it gets uncomfortable. If somebody doesn't stay on their macros 70%, 30% of the time, 20% of the time, I can see on my end if you stay on your macros or not. If you're on your macros 70% of the time and 30 not, or 20 and 80, whatever the percentage is, I know that you are this person. So I can take that into your personal life, into your marriage, and into your business. I know exactly you're in business giving 70% or 80% every time resistance comes. You just start something new or you just give up. I know in your marriage you give 70 or 80%. So we need you to learn to get uncomfortable and push beyond that to find yourself. You need to get up early as a man. You need to stay on your macros 100% of the time, and you need to hit the gym beyond what you think you're capable of doing. And the last percentage or two are going to make the huge difference. That's where the compound effect actually comes in. So it's not 90% or 95%. You need to go 100% of the time. Give it 90 days and see your life change by 180 degrees. The first 90 days when I did this, I weighed every freaking piece of cucumber. I went through my birthday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and I didn't skip a beat. It just became me, and I did it. I committed, and I stuck to my word. The word is worth nothing nowadays anymore. Nobody is the person I can run to and say, they're going to take care of business. They told me something, it's going to happen exactly as they said, and turn around, and that's it. But that's me. People come to me because they see that I do it every day. So they trust me. We need more of that in the world, especially amongst men.
Yeah, keeping your word, it has become optional nowadays. And for me, it's disgusting. I get so irritated when other people show up. They told me they were going to be there at 11. They get there at 11:15, and they just show up and it's like, hey, what's up, bro?
Yes.
It's so irritating to me. I'm not like a total asshole and like blow up on them. But I say something every time, no matter how many times. If it's a person, whether it's a person I know is late every time or they were only late once, I'm like, bro, you know?
If you show up like that with a biceps pain one day, they will get terrified. They will not even dare to do it because they know you are disciplined. You stand for discipline. Your words, your physique, your actions, everything is like a knife. So there's no deviation. If I meet with this person, I'm going to be there on time, or I just don't need to show up. When people don't answer me in my DMs after we have talked, you might need to find somebody else. Because I need people who understand the very simple basic of, it's your fucking responsibility to respond and say something.
You know what I think is funny? Most people that I know that are doing well, or at least on track on life, they respond pretty fast. Hey,
I've never met anybody who doesn't, if they're successful.
Hey, they might not answer the phone, but immediately, hey, I'm sorry, I'm in a meeting. What's up? Okay, what do you need? Immediately. It's always the people, most of the time, when I have a person who doesn't respond, gets back to me 2 days later, it's a person I don't really want to be like.
The way you do anything is the way you do everything. We just talked about it before the cameras were on. I can read, this is just one example, right, that you brought up. You can read it backwards. You can put one action and take it and read backwards what the character of that person is, what they think of themselves. I can read in between the lines and I can read people backwards. It doesn't matter if it's their shoes, if it's the car, if it's the way they travel, the words they use when they speak to me. I know what's up, and I know exactly what the problem is. Unfortunately, most people have screwed up their own reputation with themselves for so long. They don't trust themselves.
They don't trust themselves, and they never keep their word to themselves because they don't think it's worth anything anymore. They've broken the promise to themselves so many times that they don't believe themselves.
So they don't ever start anything new.
They don't even try.
They don't even try.
100%.
Yeah, there is a place like hell on earth.
What's that story of the monk? That there was like a samurai who was in search of heaven and hell, and he finds a monk in the middle of nowhere, and he asks the wise monk, what's heaven and hell? And then the monk, I'm gonna butcher the story, but the monk basically gets him really riled and says like all these things to piss him off, and he tells him that's hell. Mm-hmm. Heaven is being able to control that.
Yes,
like being able to be manipulated is hell, but being able to control that is like
you can again go physically and spiritually into that. So physically, he disturbed the atoms in the body into a negative state, and people feel out of control. They cannot do anything about it. They feel as if they are powerless against their own mind.
Right.
And the person who can look at the 3D and say, this is my life right now, but I know this is not reality. This is just my mind projected, so I am in control of creating whatever I want. I just need to be patient and keep my character aligned with the outcomes that I want. Then it will just reshape. The reality will reshape. It's very hard for people to grasp the concept.
Alrighty guys, taking a quick break from the podcast to bring you a word from our sponsor, Christian J. DePaz. Appreciate him for coming through. He offers a phenomenal service. Guys, I'm a big promoter of entrepreneurship, owning a company, starting a business, doing your own thing and chasing your own dreams. But as the old saying goes, it takes money to make money. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Christian J. DePaz and what he does. He gets funding for new and startup businesses. Christian, tell us a little bit about it.
Thank you so much, bro,
of course,
for the opportunity to come inside your podcast and help more entrepreneurs start their own business or scale their current businesses. So what we do here at Secure Funding is that we'll help you acquire anywhere between $50,000 to $150,000 at 0% interest rate business credit, so you can once again start or scale your current business. So if you come here from our good friend Nelson, there's no other you're coming from the Multana Method Podcast, and we'll take extra good care of you. With that being said, brother, thank you so much for bringing us on.
Of course. What are you waiting for, guys? Click the link in the bio.
But your reality is created by you. It's a hologram created by your mind. And my reality looks different than yours. And yours looks different. If you have siblings, you have experienced that they saw the childhood differently than you saw. They experienced it differently. And you tell the same stories and they say, no, but it was... No. Everybody has their own reality, and I can move forward in my reality. I can be in shape and make more money, and it doesn't necessarily change the way you view things, so we can interact with each other, but we can live in two different realities, basically.
What's a process if someone comes to you and they have no willpower whatsoever, and they're aware of it, and they're like, Toktam, I need help with this. What do you do with them?
Everybody, it doesn't matter if you're elite or if you start at the lower level, you all get from me macros, you all get from me workouts 7 days a week, and they're about 45 minutes to an hour. On Sundays, we usually go and take a walk or something. Macros are gonna change your physique as well as your self-worth. The whole transformation of your body is going to change your life. People don't understand and underestimate that. So this is the first thing we do. I'll give them an early wake-up time that we agree on. And once they have mastered these 3 things, we start adding more things to it. So
until you have these 3 things where you can consistently hit them, you don't move on to the next step.
I don't like to give too much at once.
Okay.
I want them to always in the mornings, obviously, to read like a quote or something that is going
Like
to
a few
inspire
pages of a book
them.
or something, yeah.
A page would be plenty. Even following me in the things that I post, I just need your mind to open up to the imaginary world and be willing and ready to walk into that direction. But then the workouts, the self-talk, the diet, the self-talk, that's where it starts. Really the self-talk towards yourself. Are you just saying to yourself all day long, oh, I don't want to do it. I hate it. I hate this shit. Why did I even sign up? My life was good enough. Or are you saying, I'm the fucker who's going to get this done? I'm the fucker. If not me, who else is going to do it? Nobody else is coming. Nobody's going to save me. I've tried everything in my life. This is the only option that I have. And every time when I don't want to do the last set, when I feel like my mind is taking over, I'm going to break that bitch. I'm going to do an extra set. Or I'm going to, whatever it takes for me to show I'm the boss. I take action the way it's good for me, the way it's serving me, versus what you tell me I should be doing.
Right.
So I separate my feelings from my actions and say, I'm going to take action regardless of how I feel, even though I don't feel good, because that's in reality the only opportunity you get to show who you are. Everybody can go January 1st. Everybody can go when they're motivated,
Monday.
when you had enough sleep, all of that. But who is going to do it when resistance comes your way, when you're tired, when the kids woke up in the middle of the night 5 times, when you had only an hour, when whatever came your way, you said, I'm still going to do it. If not me, who else? I mean, I slept an hour last night, approximately. I could say, oh, I'm just going to skip the gym and go later. Or I'm going to skip my morning post. Or I'm just going to... Everybody would understand if I just sleep until 5 o'clock, right?
Right.
But I don't. That's the only time it matters. That's the only time it matters, when you don't want to do it. That's where you separate from everybody else. The only time is when you really want that piece of cake and you say no. The only time when everybody else is going to the fucking football game and partying and drinking and you really want to do it and you say no. That's the only time you're changing the universe and saying, I really want this. I really want this. This is what I want. This is a clear energy that you send out to the universe and say, I want to be different. I want to have a different life, so I must act differently than I did so far. There's no bigger idiot on this planet who keeps doing the same shit and expects things to change.
Right.
It doesn't matter who I speak to. I literally speak to people all the time who say, I know what I'm doing at the gym. And I know I'm eating kind of healthy. No, you clearly don't. Because you don't look like you know what you're doing.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. Your actions suck. And the information, you can read another bodybuilding book. Nobody gives a shit how much information you have in your head. The only thing that matters, what distinguishes an intelligent person from the person who cannot read, is the action they take. Okay. So you have to translate the information that you have in your head, because otherwise, how do we know that you have the information in your head?
How do you separate intuition and emotion? Like, you know how I feel like going to a football game, I feel like drinking a beer, I feel like eating a piece of cake. All the things you feel like doing that you know are wrong. But what about intuition? Like, how do you separate intuition from...
I always go by, is it serving me or not?
Okay.
We all know that the alcohol is not serving us.
Is intuition and emotion coming from different places? Like, one is coming from more like a spiritual sense?
My intuition, you were born with it. It's like an animal instinct. You know exactly when you close your eyes who you are. Your intuition tells you that you should take that risk.
Right.
You should invest into that.
Where the emotion is like your lower self, right?
Yeah, that's like
Your
the
weaker
lowest
self.
version. That's like, I can't make this decision. Shall I really do it? Shall I go to the ballpark? Oh, I really feel like I'm so tired, and I really just want to eat this. And that's your ego coming in, constructing some bullshit stories why it's okay to stay the low level fuck that you are. And you know you are. You want the change. We all want you to change, because it's hard to watch somebody who just sucks at life by choice and you choose to stay comfortable.
Right.
And everybody thinks it's like this big thing they must do. Just the guy that we talked to, they all think, oh, it's going to take me 3 years to look like her. No, it's not going to. It's going to take you 90 days. What if I tell you get your money back if it's going to take you 90 days if you do exactly as I say? Exactly.
Right, you have to follow.
You
You
have
can't
to
bullshit.
follow
Yeah.
simple instructions, and you don't love the result, you'll get your fucking money back. I mean, no big deal. Because I know it works. I have proven it, and there are thousands of people who have proven it. And this can be your lifestyle. You
Right.
can, for the rest of your life, just look excellent. How about that?
Yep.
But people say, no, it must be something super complicated and it must take forever, so I'm never going to start. That's your ego speaking. Your intuition knows exactly, I don't want to be fat as fuck. I don't want to walk into a room, everybody knows that I'm just lazy, that I'm mentally lazy, that my physique is showing that I'm lazy, and that I cannot control the fucking food that goes into my mouth. When you're 350 pounds, you're giving it all away. And it makes me just angry for the people that they have given up on them so much.
Emotions lie to you. Intuition only tells you the truth.
The truth. And it hurts. It hurt like hell for me to say, fuck, I'm 39 years old. I fucked up. I really fucked up. I don't have the life that I want. I don't look the way I want. I don't have the job that I want. I'm not the mother that I want. And I'm not the wife that I want. I was failing in every area of my life. Every area of my life. It doesn't matter how much makeup you put on, how many clothes, nice clothes you put on. If you buy a new car, a new purse, if you go on vacation, it's all temporary, because you know exactly what a piece of shit you are and what you really want in life.
100%.
Everybody wants to make more money. Everybody wants to look better. Everybody wants to be a better wife, a better mother, a better friend, just have abundance in life. Plus one is what we are made for, growth. There is no limit to this. It's not like, oh, I look good now and I don't want to look excellent. No, I want to look excellent, and after that, we're going to raise the bar again. There is no end to this game. Money, the same. They're like, oh, I'm good with... No, you're not. You want to send your kids to the best schools. You want to feed your children and your family the best food. You want to travel and experience. You want to not look at the grocery store at the money. You want all of these things. So why are you lying? You don't want to fly first class. You don't want to not look at the prices when you go to a restaurant. It's a fucking lie. It's all a lie.
100%. Toktam,
Yes.
it's great having you.
Oh, thank you.
No, we're good. We're good.
We're good? Somebody.
Thank you so much for coming. You've been very great. You look great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you really
you.
do.
It's
Like, there's
just
a-
now me.
You were fit last year, but you look different. A good different.
Thank you. I just
Yeah.
keep going. I don't. It's all the process. That
One
makes me
of the many
happy.
things I love about you.
Thank you. Yeah. Keep grinding. I know you're grinding too. So we're
Definitely.
hopefully gonna do it next year again.
Yeah. Count on it. Maybe sooner. Alrighty. So, closing questions. What's inspiring you in this phase of your life?
Right now, I am tapping more into my feminine side. my children, my mother instincts, nature,
I love
and
that.
my Persian roots are coming up. So that is right now coming through. We'll see where it takes me.
Tapping into an ancient power. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Second question. What's next? What do you got going on?
Next year, 2025 is going to be dedicated to more speaking, going more out, podcasts, speaking generally in front of people, and raising the bar for mainly women who are doing already the job of the mother, the father. They're having the pains on, they're having jobs, they're raising their children. They just have lost their voice, and they feel stuck to show what they're capable of. They shrink themselves a lot of times because they don't want their husbands to look bad.
Right.
And B, to have a voice and say, I can do it all. So I have a process for all those savage women that I'm so excited to meet.
That's exciting stuff.
It is.
Last question.
Yeah.
How do you want to be remembered?
When I die? As a loving warrior, warm, but very firm and savage.
I know that. That describes you to the T.
Thank you.
T.
T.
No pun intended. T.
T. Yes. Yes.
It's great seeing you. It's great having you again.
Thank you.
And we'll do this again soon.
Yes.
In my
I'd
new
love
studio.
to.
Next time it's going to be in my new studio.
I'd love
I'm
to.
going to be very excited to show you that.
I'd love to. Let's hit a workout together. Maybe first
Sure.
beforehand, and then we hop into this.
Sounds good. Maybe I'll build a gym in the...
Yeah, or we
new
just
place.
go here. The powerhouse is great.
Oh, yeah, downstairs. That's cool.
It's beautiful.
Alrighty, guys. That was another episode of the Montana Method Podcast. Push it to the limit. The world is yours. If you're not chasing a dream, life is meaningless. Say goodnight to the bad guy.
Good night.
I've been out here hustling all my life. Every day we get into it. Really out here in these streets. That's day and night. Like there's nothing to it. When I was going through it, dog, I never got your call. I never asked for nothing, no. But now I want it all. I promise I'ma do it. Came from rags to riches. Rags to riches. Came from rags to riches. Rags to riches. Came from rags.